Hi, today I am joined by Chelsea Wells and Madison Newport. They are managers over at Pawms. Thank you, ladies, for joining me for the first interview of our summer reading, Tales and Tales.
Yay, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I was hoping that we could learn a little bit about Pawms and when, it was established and what inspired its opening, and also just a little bit about y'all. So how about we start with, when was Pawms opened?
Yeah, so the Pawms was actually a joint venture with a vet office back in 2007. Eventually, the owner now he was a kennel tech at the time. So he worked his way up and made some connections and actually opened his own facility a little while later in Avondale. Eventually, they moved out of the vet combo situation and then opened up a second location in Vestavia and then this third location in Birmingham.
What services do you offer at Pawms?
Yeah, so we do daycare, day boarding, and boarding. This location is the only one without a groomer. Our other two, they have groomers. We do baths though, and very simple things. If you need like feet tidied up, or like their face. But yeah, we do daycare. We're open every day, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pick up and drop off is all first come, first serve. So it's people are coming and going constantly. As soon as we open, our daycare starts, and we do several hours of supervised playtime in the morning and then a couple hours in the afternoon. And our boarders are in and out constantly getting walked. So yeah.
We do, all of our daycare groups are kind of hand-picked. So we don't do a temperament test here like a lot of the other dog daycare or boarding places do, because a lot of dogs are really nervous on their first day. They're hesitant. This is a new place with a lot of new smells, a lot of new dogs and people. So we try and slowly put them into a regular daycare session. So if that means letting them hang out for an hour or two by themselves so they can see everything, then that's great. And then we'll work up to putting a couple of dogs in and then putting them into a larger group, or then to the regular daycare group. So I like that about us, is we kind of accommodate any kind of dog. It's kind of a difficult thing to do if you're a high volume place. So that's something I'm really proud of us for doing.
Yeah, I've noticed, from friends who take their furry sons and daughters, I think they're more than just pets, to Pawms, how well taken care they are on social media also. I mean, I know social media can kind of be, an illusion sometimes, but having friends who go to Pawms, and seeing how happy their animals are, and you can really tell that you treat them as individual, dogs, rather than just kind of throwing them out there and then, getting the job done, so to say. How did you guys get into working at Pawms? Were you working at other animal clinics in the past, or were you working in other industries?
I'll go first. Yeah. I was in a very different industry. I worked in the music industry for 10 years, and I worked my way up from booking basement punk shows and to finally managing a 500 cat venue. And it got to be a little too much. The schedule was really grueling. I really wanted to sleep normal hours and to see my friends and my family. And I just decided it was a change. And I actually went to I got a career counselor, and we went over things that I enjoyed doing and kind of went down a list, and I was like, well, I love my dog and I love animals. Maybe I'll try a job in pet care. And I was already taking Wednesday my dog to the Pawms in Avondale for about a year, and this location opened, and I was like, hey, do y'all need some help? And I interviewed and I got it, and that's how I got here.
Yeah, I actually worked at a local credit union before this job. I kind of been bouncing around. I worked at a grocery store. I worked at, a few different places, and really hadn't figured out what I really enjoyed doing. And I did the same thing where I was like, okay, what do I like? I like my dog a lot. What can I do with that? So I started working at the Avondale location. I worked there for about a year and then helped open this place. And this place is the First Ave location has been open for 2 years now, which is nuts to think about. But yeah, and then about, I guess maybe a year or so into working at this location, I decided that I wanted to go through the dog training certification. So I'm actually finishing that up right now, and I'll be kind of transitioning into specifically dog training, which is very exciting.
How does working at the Pawms like align with your self-care?
I think for me, being able to hang out with dogs instead of people is a really nice break, right? But we also get to, we get to hang out with puppies, right? When they're in that cute puppy stage without having to really deal with training, or say training, I'll probably be doing that soon. But like without having all of the difficult things intertwined with that. So like yesterday I was not having a very good day and I got to go outside and hold this super sweet dachshund. Like it's just, it's comforting in a way that a lot of things aren't, especially in just regular life.
Yeah, for sure. It's like being an aunt.
Yeah.
Where you can like hang out with your nieces and nephews and then give them back.
Yeah.
We see dogs on their best days. Like
right.
they're here to have fun. And that's really cool. For me, as far as like part of my self-care goes, it normalized my schedule.
Right.
I sleep when it's nighttime now, which is great instead of sleeping all day. And yeah, it's great to be around animals. And I've worked a lot of like, very customer interactive jobs in the past. And it's a nice break. Like the dogs talk back to you.
Yeah.
They definitely do. But for the most part, they're just really fun to be around.
What is the importance of supporting community and how does it align in your everyday job?
So I think for us, especially during the pandemic, it's really difficult to work at home and also take care of your pup. So just our job in general is helping people in their everyday lives. I think eventually in the future for me, dog training, especially all of the pandemic puppies that got adopted, that's going to be huge. I've already had like a few people reach out and be like, hey, I got this dog within the last year and I'm having all of these issues. I really don't want to give my dog up. I think that's going to be huge for us, for me as a dog trainer, but for us as a company is, how can we make sure these dogs are living fulfilling lives? And I think that really takes a load off of the owner's shoulders too.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially during the pandemic, a lot of our, obviously we slowed way down, but we still had clients. We only shut down for about a week and a half, and open back up. And a lot of those clients were essential workers. They had to go into work. They couldn't work from home. So I feel like we supported our community during that time for sure.
What are the things that you guys learned during COVID, and working at the Pawms, and maybe even personally, and like what kind of things had changed about how operations were, and kind of looking back on the last year, like what can you take from it?
As far as like our day-to-day goes, the business changed. We closed our lobby. It's still closed to the public. So that was a big adjustment. And it allowed us like more, kind of like if you're working up front, you could also go to the back and like spend more time with the dogs.
Right.
We still continue to do that today, although we're getting busier and we're going to need somebody to be up front all the time answering the phone now. But it was nice, for the time being to have that extra kind of like help and be able to walk away for a little while and spend time with the dogs instead of just, sitting at the desk, like waiting on the phone to ring or like thinking about the pandemic that was going on.
So I know that we talked about dogs bringing you both joy and, really inspiring your life's work. What are the other things that spark joy in you, and how have you made time for them in the last year?
You go first.
Sure.
But reading. Reading, like, it really, really got me through the pandemic. I've had a complicated relationship with reading because I have a degree in literature, and so being forced to read things, even though I pursued that degree because I love reading, it kind of burnt me out on it. And so I had a hard time jumping back in over the years, and I didn't have time to with my work schedule for so long. But last year I had lots of time to read, and I discovered that I really love YA fantasy. I started reading like a bunch of Leigh Bardugo, and I went through like every single one of her books, which was great because this year when the show came out on Netflix, I got to watch the show based on the books that I read. And another thing is I co-host the Birmingham chapter of the Silent Book Club, and we kept going through the pandemic because we just went to Zoom, and I mean our numbers dwindled, but the woman that runs it with me and we still met every month even if nobody else showed up, and we still do that. So that group, we just meet once a month, and it brings me a lot of joy. It's very low pressure. You read whatever you want. There's no agenda. And we talk about what we're reading, and then we read together for a little while, and then we kind of disperse, and that's been really great. So that's it for me.
I recently bought a motorcycle.
No big deal.
I know it sounds really weird for me to say out loud, but I did. So my husband has a motorcycle and has had it for a couple of years, and I've tried to like bug him into teaching me how to ride it, but he really likes it so much he doesn't want me to mess it up. So I took a course at a Harley dealership that you can do over a weekend. It's like a Friday evening and then a Saturday and a Sunday, and like just decided that this was the thing that I wanted to do. Like this is it. So I actually talked to a few friends, and like 4 or so other women decided they wanted to take the course too, and so we have kind of slowly built this new rider girl gang situation. It's very exciting.
That is awesome.
So I've been riding my motorcycle when I can, and that just being able to, first of all, being able to do it and like practice something and be new at something was exhilarating. There's not a lot of things that I want to put myself into and be new at, but that was one of them. And so learning a new like skill and being able to have fun with it, especially going into the summer months, I'm really excited about being able to ride.
That's so cool. I think you win like best like awesome new activity of quarantine. Riding a motorcycle, no big deal.
I did make it be better.
I know that both of you like reading and watching films. I was wondering, what have you been reading lately, and what have you been watching on the big screen or in your living room?
I've been reading.
Yay!
Part, which you already knew.
I'm obsessed.
It's so good. I've been spacing it out, like, cause I have a couple of other books that I'm reading as well. So I'll do like a chapter of that, and then have to read like a few other chapters because I want to like take my time. It's so good. I love it. Good. It's a memoir about Michelle Zauner. Also, it's getting made into a movie.
I heard about it when they were talking about making it into a movie, and I was like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's got a new record out, and it is wonderful. It's as Japanese breakfast. It's so good. Oh, I read Interior Chinatown last month. That was like my favorite book that I read last month.
That's a good one.
It was so good. I like the writing style was really different, and I like that a lot. What have I been watching? Well, I watched Shadow and Bone because I read all that Leigh Bardugo, and that show came out last month. Let's see. I watch Grey's Anatomy and Bob's Burgers, and that's kind of it. Some like Law and Order SVU. Those are the shows that I keep up with.
So I just finished Dawn by Octavia Butler. And I don't know if you have read anything by her, but it's like super sci-fi, fantasy-ish. Oh my gosh. It was, at first I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get into this. I heard it was good. We'll see. Because I think it's one of a trilogy. But as soon as I like got my feet wet, we just ran with it. It's about basically the end of the world, and some extraterrestrials have stolen away some humans to kind of repopulate the earth. It's really intense. It shows you a lot about us as humans, which is very interesting to me. But I really enjoyed that. Usually I don't read a lot of like super serious sci-fi stuff. I do a lot of humor. I like Christopher Moore and Terry Pratchett, and but I like funny stuff. But I did also, over the last few years, I tried to kind of spread out and broaden my horizons on what kind of stuff I was reading, because I do read a lot of white dudes. So I read a lot from Jenny Slate, and then I read some Samantha Irby, and I really love her.
Yes, I love her.
She's
fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I've done a lot of reading over COVID too, definitely. I actually went and bought a Kindle, and have been borrowing my library books through my Kindle, which is a move for sure.
Automatic return.
It's so nice.
It's beautiful.
It's so nice. So yeah, I think I actually went to Avondale and got my first library card in like almost 20 years, the last couple of years, or a couple years ago. So I got a new library card as a mid-20s adult, and was like, okay, I'm doing this. I joined a book club, and I was buying books to go to the book club, which is mind-blowing now. Like, I think about it and I'm like, why did you do this? So a friend of mine was like, no, honey, you need to go to the library. Like, I got to. So I basically restarted my relationship with the library in my mid-20s, which was amazing.
Well, I want to thank both of you for joining us today and telling us a little bit about Pawms. And it was so great to get to know both of you virtually. And is there anything else that you would like to add? How can our viewers find Pawms on social media?
Well, you are speaking to the two people who run the Instagram and Facebook for the Birmingham Pawms location. So we are Birmingham Pawms, or no, Pawms Birmingham. We're Pawms Birmingham on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, I hope both of you have a great day, and hug all the dogs for me. And I'll see you both sometime soon in the library.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.